Hi guys, it's Katarzyna Ostasz here on the Silva Method Island platform, and I can't believe that one of my dream came true. I'm having guys for myself and for you, Laura Silva Quesada, who is a daughter of the founder of this beautiful and such a powerful program that you here and most of you were able to learn. Laura, it's such a blessing to have you here amongst us. It's quite 10,000 strong subscribers on this channel. So, on behalf of them, I want to welcome you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much that you found your time to be with us today for an hour. And please let us know, how are you doing? How is at the moment, in Texas when you are based? Let us know a little bit more about your day so far while we are going to wait for more people to join us.
Well, great. I am so pleased to be here. First of all, I want to say thank you for the invitation. And I'm always willing and ready to spend time with Silva practitioners, Silva followers, and graduates worldwide. So I'm always here for you. And I'm just so happy to share this moment. I know it's going to go by so fast. So but I really want to share this moment with you all. Today has been already a long day for me in a sense, because we usually get up very early in the morning and do some exercises. And I had a early Zoom call around maybe 8 o'clock. And then I have a grandbaby that I go and visit as well. I do that every morning as well and spend some time with her. And then I came over here and got myself ready for this workshop or this webinar. And it's just always looking forward to doing something. I'm also creating products all the time here in this office that you see around me. And I spend a lot of time here in my office and work here. I work out of my home ever since the pandemic has started, pretty much, and I've enjoyed it tremendously because I'm spending more time with my husband and spending more time with my granddaughter and family, and doing a lot more things around the yard as well. And so it's been, for me, a wonderful experience to be able to
Mhm.
stay home. I haven't traveled like I used to. I used to travel so much.
Mhm.
Every month I'd be in one country or another, sometimes 2 and 3 times a month. So
Yeah.
it was quite busy for me during pre-pandemic times. And so it was an adjustment I thought that I was going to have to go through, but the adjustment was very enjoyable for me.
That's
So
super.
yeah,
That's amazing.
I learned how to do so many things. I learned how to record my own audios. I learned how to use GarageBand. I learned how to edit and how to create music and all kinds of different things I never knew how to do before. So,
Yeah. We
yeah,
are such a creative human being, as
yes,
we
we
used to
are.
say even during the Silva seminar. So, one more time, Laura, welcome. It's such a pleasure to have you here. And also at the same time, I want to welcome you guys because you are the part, of this big momentum. We have a 10,000 subscribers of this channel, more than 10,000 subscribers. That's why, I decided to grow you here, Laura Silva Quesada, best of the best person in terms of the Silva community, just to share with us some tips about how we can make our life better and better. So I see that you are already here with us. Please let us know on this chat box, where are you coming from? Because Laura, I'm not sure if you are aware, but there is actually people gathering here from so many different places around the world. Obviously, we do have a lot of Irish people because it's the Silva Method Island platform, but please, guys, let us know, share your comments, your blessing towards Laura, as we are going to spend this powerful hour with each other.
Yes.
So, just before we start, Laura, I made some nice memory recall for you because I wanted to share today with you and with our audience some beautiful experience from my own experience. I'm not sure if you can recall this experience, but this is actually a photo that we took with each other around 7.5 years ago during my certification training. It was in Kaunas in Lithuania.
Mhm.
Very, very beautiful moment, guys, when I used to see and met Laura personally for the first time. And then just while we are waiting for more people to join us, I wanted also to show you a few others photo, with other instructor who became also Silva instructor on the same time like I did. And we have Laura as a special guest. She flew to us from Texas, Laredo, as a big surprise to be with us in the training room, and she was handed to us the certification together with Ken Koshia. So great fun. And look here, Laura, do you remember this?
Of course, always having fun times.
Yeah, we had a fun times, and I really love this photo because I'm not sure, Laura, if you are going to follow my comment, but I think that Silva method in some way is such a playful method. There is a lot of fun, and I really like to introduce and talk about some techniques, in a very funny way, because they are so simple but such effective at the same time. And I think that it's so good for people, who are not belongs to our community yet, knowing that we have a distance to the world as well, and that we are having fun while spending time together. And here is also very nice memory. After our certification training, we spent some beautiful time together having a dinner in Kaunas old town, such a beautiful city, such a beautiful town. So I just wanted to show, especially today while we are having you here, some really great memory. And one more photo, and obviously our three fingers technique.
Three fingers.
Yes, with one of other people here as well. Okay, guys, so once we are having you here, I think that we can now use Laura and ask her a lot of questions. I'm just going to remove this from our slide. We don't need this anymore. So Laura, knowing who you are, because obviously we don't need to introduce you for everyone who is passionate about the Silva method, and especially for Silva grads, I have to tell you that you are with us every single time here in Ireland when I do provide seminars for people, because I always have you on the photo. So I'm not sure if you can feel this energy vibes, but every single time when I do provide seminar, or in English or in Polish, you are with us. We can feel your spirit. So please share with us, how has your journey with the Silva method started? Because we know that you were such a lucky kid, being surrounded with such an open mind of Jose. I'm very, very curious. I'm very interested how everything started for you. And have you been interested, as a small girl, in everything what your dad did for the world? How was it? If you don't mind to share with us a little bit story behind it.
I don't mind at all. It was, for me, it was a very normal, natural kind of a lifestyle, because it's all I knew. First of all, my father started researching the Silva method back in the early 40s. I was born in the mid 50s. So by the time I was born, he had already evolved a lot of his methodology, and he had evolved a lot of the techniques by that time. So by the time I became of age, let's say when I was 6, 7 years old, because he always recommended that children take the Silva method no younger than 7 years old, because their brain frequency is already at the alpha frequency predominantly, and it's an ideal time for them to be impressed with good information. So by the time I was of age to take the Silva method, the Silva method had been evolved already a good 16, 17 years. And then it came out to the public in 66. In 1966, by that time I was 12 years old. And of course, we would always participate in a lot of the seminars that he would teach, because he would do it here in Laredo, where I still live in Laredo. And he would do them once a week, every Friday evening. He'd have meetings, and people would come in, and he would teach them. And people would come and pay maybe $5, $10. They would give a donation. He wasn't even charging back before 1966. And then when he did start the Silva method in 1966, it really took off really fast. And he was traveling quite a bit. So he was always on the road, or he was always studying. And there was 10 of us. There was 10 children that my mother would have to look after. There is, though, a big age difference between the oldest and the youngest. There's 20 years between the oldest and the youngest. And so by that time, the oldest were already or going to the military, or serving our country, or going to study. But it was really interesting, because every single thing that I can remember as a little girl growing up, I remember there was always hypnosis being practiced. There was always some kind of induction being done, because my father started with hypnosis before he developed the Silva method. So hypnosis was like the father of the Silva method, and yoga
Mhm.
and deeper types of other meditations were also like the parents of the Silva method. But what he always wanted to do was to find a way that people could do this on their own and be able
Yeah.
to change their life with the formula type techniques that he developed eventually, and through their meditative process and their proper thinking and their behaviors and all that kind of stuff. So every day there was something, some kind of or hypnosis or meditation. He would
Mhm.
work with some small groups of people. Um, every Sunday we would go to church because we're Catholics, and we would go to church in
Mhm.
the morning, and then after church we'd have something to eat, and then all afternoon we would practice with hypnosis, positive and negative hallucinations, and we would do all kinds of H regressions or H progressions, and
Mhm.
we would it was just always, I thought it was always fascinating, and I always enjoyed it, but I had always seen it all my life. So
Yeah.
when I started going to school and some of the children would do like whoa and make funny kind of signs at me, I didn't know what they were talking about because we didn't do that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
That was not one of the techniques that we learned. And then I realized, I think at a young age, but soon after that, that we were different, that people were
Mhm.
talking about us, and that people thought that strange things were going on in the Silva household, and that we were seen as doing something that was different than most people. And I had never felt that
Mhm.
before that time. It was interesting, but it was it didn't hold anything back from me, or from
Mhm.
having friends or anything like that. I had a very natural childhood, and quite frankly, being that I think I grew up with it at to that extent, I don't think I valued it in the same way as maybe some outsider would. But I think I got more and greater benefits because I was born into it,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
whole realization of the immense power and the immense potential that we have as human beings with a mind and intelligence and abilities to heal ourselves and to change our lives and create the life of our design wasn't the kind of realization I got to a little bit later after my teenage years. I had very experimental teenage years,
Mhm.
and it wasn't always smooth sailing. And sometimes people kind of question, why is it that you had some challenges growing up? And I
Yeah.
said, because I didn't practice what I knew. I didn't put to practice what I had been taught all my life. And like any other teenager, I was maybe a little on the rebellious side, or I was, experimental, or wanted to check out different things, or whatever it might be. And it wasn't until I realized that this was the way that I could literally have everything that I ever dreamed of. And when I had that
Mhm.
realization, it was quite remarkable for me. It was a real turning point in my life because I began to live the method in every single way. And my life just kept getting better and better and better and better. And it just continues to this day to get better. My husband saw the picture that you posted on the YouTube
Mhm.
channel, and
Mhm.
he said, "Oh my God, you even look prettier now." He said, "You look younger." You
Yes,
look
but
healthier. I thought, wow, because you're like good old wine. You get
yeah,
better with time.
it's true. But do you remember what I said to you when I saw you? I was exactly the same, Laura. You haven't changed like
Yeah.
nothing. But
Well, that's
if I can stop you here for Laura
yeah,
just for a moment,
sure.
I'm so grateful that you mentioned this because that might be very powerful message for Silva graduates because this is always what I'm kind of repeating, that it's really all about being regular, being persistent with the Silva method tools.
Yeah.
Once we are going to practice them, once we are going to implement them in our life on the daily basis, this is only the way how we can see some result popping up
Mhm.
in our life. So this is exactly what you just said. So thank you so much for sharing that.
It's really quite amazing that it was my hardest, roughest moments in life that I was going through a breakup in a relationship, and I was miserable, and I had lost a lot of weight, and I was negative, and I just wanted him to be in my life, and he didn't want to be in my life, and I was heartbroken. And when you get into that whole syndrome of thinking that's
Yeah.
spiraling downward, it was at that point where I felt like, what else do I have to lose? Kind of thing. I was in the hospital with pneumonia one time, and then with the kidney problem another time, everything worked out fine at the end, obviously. But my point here is that it was at that moment that I went to Silva. And not because so much I wanted to go take the courses. My brother Tony was teaching the classes at the time, and I was quite young still. But I needed the money because I had been spending erroneously, and I had all kinds of problems in my finances, in my health, in my thinking. I had problems in everywhere. My spirit was broken, and I felt I needed some money that would help me get back on track. But little did I know that Tony was very smart about saying, okay, fine, you can come and help me. He said, but you have to be in the classroom all the time. And that was a condition that if I was in the classroom all the time, and I would help him to set up the chairs and buy some sweet bread or cookies and make their coffee and what have you, that he would share some of those profits with me. He would pay me to do that. I thought, how odd. Why do I have to be in the classroom all this time? But little by little, it was the smartest thing for him to do for me, was because I was in the classroom and I was sitting in the back of the classroom, and there was nothing else for me to do during that time but to listen and to do the meditations. And when I started doing the meditations, I started to feel like I was coming home again, that I was being almost reborn in a sense. I felt an energy that entered me, a peace that entered me, a hope that entered me, that I thought, wow, I hadn't felt this in a long time. I had been so stuck and feeling miserable because I wanted that person back in my life, that I was forgetting about everything else that I knew how to do, but wasn't doing it. And then when I moved into working with the techniques, I started to understand how to make them work for me. And when I got to the mirror of the mind technique, which for me changed my life forever, I thought, at first, my first thought was, great, this is such an amazing technique. This is what I'll do to get him back in my life. And the more I used the mirror of the mind to get him back in my life, the less it worked. The more we argued and the farther apart we became. And I thought to myself, for a short period of time, I thought, you know what? This Silva method, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. He's not in my life anymore. But then that's when I also started to learn about feedback. I started to learn how that wasn't negative, that there was probably something else that was greater, bigger, more for me than having him in my life. And then when I start to really think about all the ingredients that go to programming, like desire, belief, expectancy, like visualization, imagination, persistent action, coherent emotions, the feedback, all of these things, I began to understand that it wasn't about him. He coming into my life was not going to make it better. In fact, it was what made it bad. And so it was me working on me. You know how they always say, if you're pointing that finger like that, you always have three fingers pointing right back at you. So you need to really start thinking about, what about me do I need to change? And I started to make those changes. I concentrated on really the lowest hanging fruit, like how I think, what I believed in, and how were my behaviors. And so I changed those three simple things that I had total control of, and through my meditations and imagery and all that, and all the formula type techniques. But to change how I thought was huge. It changed my life. To change my beliefs was even more huge, because it changed, not only changed my life, but created the life I wanted to create. And then to upgrade and improve my behaviors was really like the magical part of it, when they all came together. And it was from that time on, it just kept getting better and better. To this day, it's just, life keeps still getting better. And I'm just always happy with that.
Wow, that's such an amazing story that I even, got a goosebumps at some stage, because it's very powerful, like you said, trusting in the process as well. I think that this is how we can summarize everything what you just said. And Laura, while we are having you here, even people are already, saying to us that, wow, what a pleasure to make this possible, to see Laura. I want to ask you if you can tell us a little bit more about Jose, because, who is going to tell us, more, stories from behind the scene about him. What I mean about that, obviously, we know his work, we know his wisdom, and every Silva passionate and Silva grads know what Jose did for entire world. But if you can tell us about the Jose from the perspective about, what did he like to do, about maybe his personality a little bit, maybe, what kind of joke he used to make for people. That will be, I think, such a great, benefit for all of us to hear today from you.
Yes, he was a very, very driven man. He had a great purpose and a mission to fulfill, and he was going to do it no matter what. He was determined by far to do what he was set to do, and he believed he had a very strong uh, compassion, passion
Hmm.
to share this information because he knew how powerful it was and how it could truly improve the lives of people. But all that being said and done, he was a very studious man. You know, he never went to school a day in his life, but he taught himself. His older sister, because he had an older sister named Josephine, and then it was my father, and there was Alberto, and then it was Juan. And from his mother's first marriage, because his father died from a train accident during the revolution,
Hmm.
so he was left, with just his mother to care for them for them, and also he felt as the oldest male, he had to contribute to the family as well. So he always felt that that was what made him such an entrepreneur in a sense. He was always looking for ways to make money to help his mother and the family to make ends meet, selling newspapers, washing cars, being able
Hmm.
to come up with little mini businesses, gather people together to make things happen. He was very, very sharp about all those different things, learning electronics and taking studying from that. And his sister Josephine taught him how to read and write, but he had a passion for it. He was always reading and writing. He was always reading everything. And it really wasn't, until after he got married, he had three children. He was then drafted. Again, he grew up an orphan from his father and a very hard worker all his life, but he did have to serve the country. And by that time, he had three children at home. And it was during that time that he was given the gift of curiosity about mind and mind
Hmm.
development and how it works. He was being interviewed, to enter the service, the army, and that during that time he was being questioned by a psychologist, psychiatrist. And my father
Okay.
thought they were very odd questions, things like, do you wet your bed or do you like women? He thought, why would you ask a grown man if I wet my bed or if I like women? I'm married and have three children. Of
Yeah.
course I like women.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so anyways, so after a while, he began asking this psychiatrist, what are you doing? Why are you asking this? And that's when he became more aware of what was psychology, behaviorism, and
Hmm.
the doctor realized that he was very, very interested, and he directed him to books from Jung and Freud and others, Adler,
Hmm.
what have you, the great hypnotist and psychologists of the time, and he found it to be fascinating. So then he continued to pursue that and study that, and he went into the Rosicrucian order, which is also a sort of a brotherhood in a sense, and he learned a lot of things about meditation, about life, about thinking, about a lot of things, and he put all his information together, started he became a very expert hypnotist, and
Hmm.
he continued to evolve his material that resulted with the Silva Method. But all along the way, he enjoyed family. He enjoyed that,
Hmm.
that unity. He had a great sense of humor. He was
Hmm.
really fun and funny. He told jokes all the time, and some I would not even want to repeat, but he
Yeah,
was
yeah,
always,
yeah.
he would laugh at his own jokes before he even finished them. Yes. He enjoyed having people over. He enjoyed caring for people. Our house, 10 children, and then all the children's friends and cousins, they were all
Yeah.
here. They would all
Like a small city, small town. Yeah.
it was always people at the house. There's always children. There's always everything. And meanwhile, he was doing his research as well and had to carry on
Hmm.
electronics business, fixing radios and televisions
Hmm.
at the time. And but he stuck to it. He was very determined. He was an amazing opera singer. He was a tenor, and
Oh,
he
wow.
sang beautiful. He had a beautiful tenor voice, and he would lock himself up in his office, and I would lock myself up with him as well. You would have the reel to reels of Mario Lanza and other way old time, very famous opera singers, and he would sing with them. And I would always like, I would just fall in love with my father all over again because it was quite magical just to hear the powerful voice that came out of him. And he never quite got to go into professional singing, although that at one time was his dream. But he always did feel that his training in singing would help him to become a better speaker.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
he would go on for hours on end. I mean, we have courses would last maybe 8 to 10 hours, but he would go 14 and 16 hours sometimes for the seminars because people would never wanted to leave. They wanted to know more and more and more. And I remember he, be in the wee hours of the morning finishing up a seminar because people just wanted to hear more of that.
Yeah. It's
Fun.
like a concert for free after the seminar, Amazing.
And it was I also found it really interesting about him that he always looked and asked others for help. People who knew more about him, people who knew more about business, or people who knew about hypnosis or about religion or whatever. He would always go and ask to make appointments with him if they had something that they could help him learn. And they were I remember that a lot of people were very kind in the way that they would help him with how to start up a business or how to, move into
Yeah.
different things. We would go different cities and drive over there, and there'd be like 5 6 children in the car, and we would be waiting outside, and he would be walking into this huge mansion because the people were very successful, and he would stay in there, and they would have conversations, and then he would come back and we would take off. And I always found that fascinating how he was not afraid to ask others, how did you make success or
Mm-hmm.
happen, and he was also always looking forward to sharing that information with others as well. He was
Oh,
quite remarkable. I always appreciated that about him.
that's super. I see that people are joining, guys. Also, maybe I didn't mention this at the beginning. Use this opportunity and ask Laura a question in the chat box, because after this main part of asking Laura a question by myself, you are going also to have a chance to ask Laura your question, and she's here for us today. She promised me to spend some time with us, so make sure to use this opportunity. That's
Absolutely.
perfect. That's perfect, Laura. Thank you so much for a little bit story behind. So maybe now let's move a little bit to the topic, which is very relevant to everything what it is connected with the Silva method. I want to ask you, according to your opinion and everything what obviously you teach, you traveled around the world, and you presented in so many different surroundings and places the Silva method. So I think that you also got a lot of feedback from people. But if we can today listen to your opinion, um why is it important according to you to meditate and follow our heart desire? When you think about everything what you experience, because we know your story already, but thinking about other people that you've been able to teach and presented the Silva method to, if you can maybe share with us as an inspiration, who people maybe who are struggling, who know that meditation, especially dynamic meditation, is so good, but they still for some reason are not into that routine. Why is it so important to meditate according to Laura Silva
Yeah,
Quesada?
the meditation part is very important. To tell you quite frankly, I always meditate formally, and I say formally twice a day. Formally, I mean like when you do the 3 to 1 method, and then you
Mhm.
deepen and what have you. I do that in the morning when I wake up. I stay in bed and I'm there planning my day. I'm picturing the things I need to
Mhm.
do, people I need to talk to, work I need to get done, just even fun things. Then I picture my day unfolding, and then at nighttime, as I'm going into sleep, I always enter sleep with a meditation, and I drift off into sleep from there. But
Mhm.
during the day, I I I do it what I call mini booster meditations. I go in and out, sometimes for 30 seconds at a time. Close my eyes, take a deep breath. I go into my inner state, and I ask myself a question, and then I open my eyes and I act on it. If
Mhm.
I'm caught if I'm just like searching for an idea or a solution to something, or who do I need to talk to, I'll close my eyes. Sometimes I use my 3 fingers technique a lot, and then I get the information and then I act on it. So for me,
Mhm.
going in and out is a lifestyle. It's an easy
Mhm.
way for us to meditate without going through the whole process of meditation. The thing I think that's really important for us to understand is that what's the purpose behind the meditation?
Mhm.
Why are you meditating? So if you're meditating just because you want to be in a quiet state, fine, just close your eyes and stay quiet. But if you're meditating because you want to heal your body, then you're going to close your eyes and you're going to visualize the problem, and then you're going to imagine it returning to health. but you need to support that with your behaviors and your belief
Yes.
structures as well. Not meditation alone is not going to do it by itself. You need to be congruent in how you think, believe, behave, and how you support your meditation and how you support what you desire to achieve in your life. If you're
Mhm.
going to meditate because your business is failing or because you need more money or whatever, then you're going to meditate and you're going to use, of course, imagery. This is where I am and this is where I want to be. And then you have to support it with your actions as well. How are you going to support that? How are you going to support it? Maybe you're going to work a little harder. Maybe you're going to be a little smarter. Maybe you're going to learn something new. Maybe you're going to whatever. But my point
Mhm.
here is that what is important is that you need to be clear. What do I want to do with my life? What's important
Mhm.
for me? How do I want to move forward in my life? Because it's going to take three very basic things, as I mentioned before: how you think, what you believe in, and how you behave. What are the things that you're doing to support the action? And it's understanding the the reason why the formula type techniques work so well, and the real fundamentals about the kind of meditation that we do in Silva, which is dynamic and energy infused. It's understanding those fundamentals that then you can incorporate them into your meditative process. But you
Mhm.
need to have congruency along the way. You
Mhm.
need to have emotional coherency along the way. You need to do things for all the right reasons, in other words. Otherwise, why even bother? If you want to reduce weight, but you meditate and you picture yourself to reduce weight and you picture yourself thinner, but meanwhile you keep eating,
Yeah.
it's not going to happen. So
Of
there's going to
course.
be that congruent support to back it up. So the meditation is going to really firm up. It's going to
Mhm.
secure. It's going to allow the greater part of who you are, which is a spiritual being having a human experience. It's going to allow the greater part of who you are to really root in those desires to achieve what you want, and then you're going to support it with your physical behaviors and your thinking and all that kind of stuff. But it's going to be what you do when you meditate and what you want to achieve, and be clear about what you want to achieve. And then with the meditation, it's going to allow you to make that happen, or what, better than that. So it's always
Mhm.
this or better, and that's the way you're going to make it happen. So it's really important that we get into the practice of a meditation. But a lot of people say, I don't have time to meditate, because
Yeah.
they think that they have to spend 15, 30 minutes, doing 333, 222, 111, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and then that they I don't have time for that. Well, good. You don't you're gonna be able to meditate anytime you internalize your focus with a purpose in mind. It can be
Yes.
30 seconds, it can be 1 minute. And if you do it purposefully, then you are meditating. That is
Yeah.
part of the meditative process. That's why we teach you the Silva method, how to use the three fingers technique to go into level right away. That's why what we say towards the end of the Silva course, that once you work cases by just closing your eyes and taking a deep breath, you're already at your level. So there's a lot of reasons why you can shift your mind, internalize your mind state, and go into that state of mind that you already know that when I go there, I get good things happen, positive things happen. And so that way you can go in and out of that state as you need throughout the day and really live it as a lifestyle.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. That's beautiful, especially that you mentioned, that, it takes you a while to go, to your meditative state during the day, just by your description. And also, what I found very inspiring in your messages here, that yes, meditation itself, it's not going to only change our life. It has to be supported by the action. We have to, like you said, think, feel, and behave on the proper
Mhm,
way to get what we want, to manifest what we want.
mhm.
That's beautiful. I see that questions are coming up, but we will leave them, guys, till the end of our conversation, because also Laura is going to have today such a powerful message. So please make sure to stay with us till the end. And Laura, you already share with us how your day looks like, but even, seeing you today to compare to 7 years ago, for me, you haven't changed nothing. Like, you're still the same. So my question, probably, not also what I am curious about, but also for people who are gathering here, is how Laura Silva Quesada is taking care of herself on the daily basis, because you are such a vibrant person. You are very dynamic. You look so beautiful. We know how many things you still do on the daily basis for your community, for the world in terms of the Silva method. So we want to do the same. So please share with us, do you have some daily routine? Obviously, we expect that you meditate every day.
Yeah.
That is like, your peak point during the day, that you know and you believe that they are helping you to get better and better every single day.
Yeah, I do everything I can, and that I know of that is going to keep me strong, healthy, vibrant, and young. And so for me, working out is important. I work out. I'm a runner
Mhm,
more than anything else. I'm a runner, but I also do exercises with weights and
mhm.
the bouncing, the rebounding, whatever. But I go out for about 7.5 miles a day, 5 days a week. So I run like 5 miles and then I fast walk another 2.5 miles. Takes me about an hour and 45 minutes. I mean, I do it at my pace, but I do that daily. I've been doing that for 30 something years because
Amazing.
when, yeah, actually, because when I had my second child, I gained almost 95 pounds. And so
Mhm,
I was weighing
mhm.
almost a little over 200 pounds after I gave birth to her. And and I was already lecturing. I wanted to go back to lecturing. So I thought, I've got to reduce this weight. So I used the weight reduction technique, the weight and habit control that we have at
Mhm.
Silva. I started to reduce, my intake of food while I started to increase my activity level. So I started by just maybe jogging. I couldn't jog more than a half a block, but with time, as long as I stuck to it, I said, tomorrow I'm going to jog another half block, but a little bit more than that. And it was always a little bit more than that, a little bit more than that. So the half
Mhm.
block became a block, the block became three became a half mile became a mile. And I was running miles after that. And so I used to do marathon runs, 26-mile marathon runs. And I just no longer have a need for that, but I do maintain. I believe in a
Yeah.
maintenance program.
Mhm,
So I do the running for the cardio work. I do the weights for just, good, strong bones and
mhm.
muscles. And I eat healthy. I like to eat a little bit of everything. So, but
Mhm,
I usually eat only when I'm hungry. And, but if I feel
mhm,
like having a little chocolate, I'll have a little chocolate. But I'll
mhm.
savor it. The rules that I set for myself was whenever you're going to eat only when I'm 60% full, not 100% full. I say, oh,
Yeah.
I don't do that. I never do that. I pull away from the table when I'm just comfortable. That's it. Not
Mhm,
full at all. I chew very slowly. I eat slowly. I chew my food really
mhm,
well, and I drink plenty of fluids throughout the day. My husband and I enjoy having our glass of wine or a cocktail
mhm.
here and there. We like being to share that together, and we
Yeah.
enjoy our lifestyle in that way. But we're very healthy about it. He works out every single day. He's more disciplined than I am, and we're both in our late 60s now. He's 68, I'm 67, and yet, but that's one thing that we always do. We eat good, we exercise well, and even he reduced like 30 pounds by just eating early. We only eat early. We don't eat late. After 5:30, we don't eat anything anymore.
Very powerful.
Yeah, for
Mhm.
us, that works for us. We get up early, we go to bed early, we sleep our 8 hours, we work out
Yes.
hard,
Yeah.
and we enjoy that a balance in our life that for us is very, very important. I like to come to my office and I work. I love to create products and record, and I love to do webinars like we're doing right now, and
Mhm,
be here for the Silva practitioners and for the directors and instructors. But I also like cooking. And I like being with my grandchild
mhm.
child and or children, and so it's a nice balance that we have, and I think it's really important. It wasn't always so balanced in that way, but you need to. It's good to find it, to look for
Yeah.
it, and for me,
Yeah.
meditation. When I really allow myself to redefine meditation as anytime you internalize your mind with a
Yeah.
purpose in mind, it made all the difference. And I thought, gosh, I'm meditating a lot more than I realize.
Yeah.
And
That's so
and
true.
and so I think that was important. And so all throughout the day, I have many opportunities to keep me in check, keep me in line, keep me focused. I'm very grateful for my life and what happens to it. And so I express a lot of gratitude. I believe in God. We pray every day.
Mhm,
So there's just certain things that we do that work for us. I always tell people, check your beliefs. What are
mhm,
the beliefs you hold to be true about everything in life?
mhm.
And then when it comes to wanting to achieve something, what do you really, really, really want and yet don't have? And if you really want something but don't have, you don't have it yet, there's probably a limiting belief running it. You know,
Exactly.
this is
Mm-hmm.
this guiding it, is motivating that. And so you need to ask yourself, why don't I have this? And if you start saying, oh, it's because, and you start giving reasons, excuses, or pointing the finger, then that's your limiting belief.
Mm-hmm.
Rearrange it, change it, modify it to then open up doors of opportunity. So for me, I was always very mindful, being very mindful. You know, what if I really want this? Why don't I have this in my life yet? And then you start asking yourself that question. You start hearing your own objections and the reasons why, and that's your belief that's there. So I started getting rid of a lot of different kinds of limiting beliefs because they were restricting me from creating the life of my design, the life I wanted to live. And it was important for me to recognize what that was. And so I started to challenge myself in that way and started to move,
Mm-hmm.
better and forward more rapidly by doing so.
Wow. For me, just to sum up everything what you just said, it's not only that Laura Silva Quesada is taking care of her mindset and spiritual life, but it's such a powerful message that you share with us today, that you are really looking after about your own body, because
Yes.
this physical activity, that very conscious food that you are absorbing, it's also very, very powerful. There is a lot of joy in your life, at least based on my feeling, what you just shared with us. You mentioned that you are also a grandmother, that you love spend time together with your husband, enjoying, socializing with people. So definitely, I think, guys, that we can say that Laura Silva Quesada is living her life to the fullest. So
Yes.
it's something to be inspired by it. And you have such a powerful messages here and beautiful words from Christina, Laura, who said that you look like your early 50s. So beautiful. So we want the same. We want the same. We had this laugh, Laura. I'm not sure if you heard about that. And I think that I heard that for the first time during my certification training, that if we want to marketing Silva Method, we actually should, marketing more ourselves, how we look now, how we behave, because this is actually the part of the lifestyle. So, it's very, very powerful.
Yeah, why would I be teaching this if I was either unhealthy, unhappy, or broke? There's no. I mean, there's no
No,
reason.
yes,
I should not be doing this unless
exactly.
I have it all myself. And I was saying we were born to have it all. So
Yeah,
what
I
do you need
totally
to do?
agree. Yeah,
Yeah,
and it should be proper. Well, it will be visible and it will be
yeah.
seen, and probably it wouldn't be so effective, for all of us. So
I think that the what we need to remember is that we're so transparent that people right
yes,
away, they see you, they're going to know,
yes,
oh, she cares for herself, she doesn't care for herself.
yeah,
And then if by just looking at you, you already know that what a lot about a person. By
yes,
just looking at a person, you already know a lot about them because do they like to look attractive? Do they care for their body? Do they consider what they wear that fits them nicely? Do they look tidied up and not or not? Do they look
true,
overweight or are they thin? You know that they're eating good or you're not eating good. Are they toned and firm or are they loose and flabby? I mean, you know so much about them. And then when they open their mouth, you know even more because
yeah,
you're hearing them say, spill out their beliefs, their fears, their angers,
yes,
their everything. And then when you watch them, they reveal even more. So everything about us is very revealing. You cannot hide who you are. So congruency is so important. If you're going
mm,
to do something, do it congruently and really walk your talk. And for me, that was always very important. I'm
yeah,
not going to talk about manifesting if I can't manifest. I'm not
exactly.
going to talk about healthy mind and body if I don't have a healthy mind or body. I
So
mean, why
true.
am I going for Silva intuition training if I don't even have a good intuition? I mean, like it doesn't make sense to me. It never did. So it's always very important for me to practice every single technique because every single technique taught me something new or different. How to work with the internal dialogue, how to listen to that voice, how to control it and manage it, how to build up your energy, how to motivate yourself, I mean, just there's so many things that are taught in the formula techniques aside from what they're meant to teach you that
Yeah,
it's really important for us to practice them. 10
yeah,
to 1 countdowns for deepening mind states, points of reference, these are all really quite important things. Being mindful of when things shift in your body so that you'll know how to respond to them effectively instead of react inappropriately. So
No, that's such a true, and I have to tell you, Laura, that I'm quite the same. It's very hard for me to talk about, the things and teach people about something that I personally haven't tested in the past, because it's just giving me more experience and more belief and power that now I have a knowledge and I experience something and I can share with people. And obviously, based on your doing, you are becoming better and better and you have your results. So then, you have even a story to share with people during the seminars that, yeah, actually I was able to manifest it. So Silva
yeah.
lifestyle, exactly. And George is saying, Laura, that he really liked the concept of a little bit more each time to attain any goals. I love it. I always also love to say that small steps make a difference. When
Mm,
you mentioned
absolutely.
about your running, right? How actually you were adding, some distance to your daily routine. I found it powerful as well, actually, George. So fair play. Okay, Laura. So maybe just, the time is flying, unfortunately.
It always does.
Yeah, but you are known for us, especially this is what I am spreading amongst our community, that you are such a great manifester. You have your own Silva manifesting program as well. You actually, used to travel. We know now that now you are doing more work online around the world, around the globe to teach people more about manifestation based on the Silva technique. So I know that some people are waiting for those questions. If you would like to share with us, I know that you have plenty or millions manifestation that you've been able to manage on your own. But if you can share with us something that you are very kind of grateful for and proud of in terms of your own manifestation, plus if you can please share with us maybe 3 little steps that will be helpful for us to be closer to our intention, goals, and manifestation.
I
Okay,
think,
so if we can divide this person for these 2 parts.
let's see if we can cover this and all together here. I think it's really important for us to be very clear about what we want.
Mhm.
I think because if you don't know what you want, you don't know how to get started. You don't know what steps to take. And that's one of the questions I hear so many times is, where do I start? I don't even know where to begin. There's so many things going on in my life that I want, and I don't know where to start. But then you start with one of them, one of the most important ones, or you create a big picture outcome as to how you want to live your life. So when we answer the questions of what is it that I want, where will
Mhm.
I be when I get it? Who's going to enjoy the ride with me?
Mhm.
When is it going to happen? And how is it going to change my life for the better? And why? Why is it important for me? If we answer those questions very clearly, what, when, where, who, how, and why, then you're going to have a clear idea as to what
Mhm.
you want and what you want to actualize in your life. Then you can bring those questions back down and ask them about different things. Divide your life in different things. What's important to you? Health. Without your health, you have nothing. So is it
Exactly.
health? Are you going to look at maybe relationships? Is that important to you? Whether it's love or other kind? Are you important? Is money or abundance, finances that important for you?
Mhm.
So it's health, wealth, wisdom, happiness, love, peace, success, joy. Think about the categories in your life that you find very, very important, and then you can sectionalize them in your mind and then do the who, what, where, when, how, and why questions about each one of those things. I have to say, I mean, my husband, I feel like I attracted him to me because I
Mhm.
attracted him as my soulmate. I programmed for him to show up in my life for about a month, and I would do this programming over and over and over again. But I also did at a time in my life where my life was running very smoothly, and my life was in good order. I had, a lot of work to do. I had good finances. I was healthy and strong and vibrant. I didn't need like fixing anymore. I had already fixed
Yeah.
my life. I
Yeah.
already had fixed all those things in my life. So now
Yeah.
I thought, well, gee, how nice. It would be nice to share this with someone. And it was when I was already at a higher vibrational
Mhm.
frequency that I was able to attract a person that was of that higher vibrational
Mhm.
frequency. And
Mhm.
we fell in love, I think, the first night that we met. So
Mhm.
my point in saying that is like, what is it that you want first? Be clear about your outcomes because clear pictures lead to clear outcomes. But if you're fuzzy about your
Yes.
outcomes, and fuzzy pictures lead to fuzzy outcomes, you go here and you go there and you go all different places, and you lose time and energy for that matter in really creating the life that you want. And you deserve to have it all. So start
Yeah.
with what's important to you right now, or what really is the biggest piece of your life that's lacking. And I always think that's really important, that when you're working towards manifesting something, you have to be very clear about the beliefs that are holding you back. So if you think like, oh, with this pandemic, there's no work out there, so there's no money, then that's going to be true for you.
True.
But it's not true for a lot of people. A lot of people are thriving during the pandemic. A lot of people are finding love during the pandemic. A lot of people got into working out and are healthier than ever during the pandemic. A lot of people learn new skills, and now they're making or earning more monies because they learned to do new things because of the pandemic. So
Yes.
it depends on your perspective. That's why your thinking is very important. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I say change how you think, what you believe in, and how you behave. When you change your thoughts, you're going to attract more of what you want. You're going to attract, let me put it this way, what you're thinking. When we say, I don't want to be sick anymore, I don't want to be broke. If you if you think about that phrase, I is a you can form a picture of the word I, and then you can't form a picture of don't want, but you can picture broke. So what you're picturing, or what your body, brain, and mind is sending out to the universe at large, from where all things come, is I broke, or I sick, I'm miserable. And that's what you're picturing. So you keep getting more of it and more of it. Instead of saying, I want to be healthy, I want to be strong, I want to be living with abundance. I am living with abundance. I am healthy. I am strong. And live that affirmation. Create images of that, and then step into that you. I always encourage people to not only create the image of the outcome that they desire, but once they
Mm-hmm.
have it just the way they want it, to step into
Yeah.
that outcome image and experience it and own it. Come to really feel, this is who I am. I
Mm-hmm.
healthy. I am vibrant. I have abundance. I am wealthy. I am loved. Whatever it might be that you're looking for, but experience it so that your body, brain, and mind begin to own it. And the sooner it begins to own it, the sooner you can actualize that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really important to really put a lot of attention to what you're thinking. And a lot of people say,
Yeah.
I know that positive thinking stuff. I know all about that. Yes, but are you doing it? Obviously, you're not doing it. Or about the belief structures. And there's a lot of information out there that you can really look into. There's a guy on a website. I mean, he's passed away. His wife now handles it, but it's Marty Lefko, the Lefko Institute, and he talks
Mm-hmm.
a lot about beliefs, Lefkoe. And then, of course, you have the book called The Work, and that's also a very good source for like working
Yes.
belief structures. So again, what do you want and don't have, and notice the beliefs that are behind that. So again, you're in charge of that, and you know what behaviors are going to benefit you. You know what behaviors don't benefit you. And that means from what you eat, what you take into your body, what you drink, the drugs you use, not going to work on time, leaving work early, just being sloppy about your life, staying up surfing on the internet instead of sleeping well. Exercise works, but you don't do it. So it's those are the kinds of things that we really analyze, especially in Silva manifesting. What does your body need and your physical living experience need that you're not satisfying? What is your mental or intellect need that you're not satisfying? What does your emotional body need that you're not satisfying? Sometimes things like forgiving self, forgiving others,
Yeah. Yeah.
support systems, things of that nature. What does your spirit need that you're not satisfying? Because you're all those things. You're not just a physical body. And the sooner we begin to realize that everything's connected and that everything supports each other else, and there must be congruency in that, the sooner you're going to get all the wheels moving in your direction to attract more what you desire in your life, or be able to create it. And I
Yeah.
think it's really important because it's right there for you to create. It's right there for you to attract. It's right there for you. But something is blocking it. And that's what you have to ask yourself. What about me is blocking what? The abundance. Why am I always broke? What about me is blocking having the perfect love in my life? What about me is blocking, not being healthy? I mean, so it's gonna all come down to belief structures.
Yeah, this is such a powerful, and I have a feeling that you just summarized for us, the Silva Method seminars. And yes, like Christina is saying, it's very important to do, and actualizing ourselves in terms of mental house cleaning that we also do teach during the Silva seminar. So exactly, Christina, that's very powerful. Laura, thank you so much for this such a powerful, manifestation suggestions. Like you said, we can own it. We are responsible for everything what we do. We have the tools, so it's so important for us also to know this how, even though we know that our why is something what is really really matter. Sometimes it's good for people if they are maybe lost or they have this challenging moment in their lives to show them how they can actually do something, and we know that the Silva Method program is helping on that way.
Yeah.
So Laura, I know that you launch just something very powerful. If you don't mind, please share to us a few more information about your new Intuition Intensive Marathon. I'm going, guys, for you paste a link right now to everything what Laura is going to cover for you right now. And please, just in the meantime, write your question, because after this section, what Laura is going to tell to us, we are going to moving to maybe, I don't know, 15 Q&A session, if you don't mind, Laura. Okay,
Fine, sure.
yeah, it's still 55 minutes. I'm watching the time, so just bear in
I'm all,
mind that
I'm all
again,
yours. I'm all
I
yours.
have my mind here. Yeah. So Laura, if you don't mind to tell us a little bit more about this new product that you just launched, and guys, I am just pasting for you a links here, so please make sure to have a look. What is there?
I am super excited about this because it's one of my favorite topics. I was always raised to work on developing the intuition. For my father, the intuition part of the Silva method, which is like Silva intuition training, is the heart and soul of the Silva method. Now,
Yes.
everything that we've done in the Silva life system part, in the training, the Silva method training, like all the deepening and the meditations and the formula type techniques, all of that, although it can change your life forever, that part was really training you to be able to enter a certain depth and have a certain experience with your alpha and theta frequencies that would then allow you to open the doorway to your intuition. He always felt that that's the ultimate sense, because when you have intuition and you can rely on your intuition, then everything is at hand, because you're going to make right choices and decisions. And when you make right choices and decisions, you create the life that you want. You manifest more of what you want. You attract more of what you want, because you're choosing and deciding correctly from everything, and everything in your life is a decision. So intuition, I mean, has many layers, and there's a lot to the intuitive experience. So what we're going to do in this training is that we're going to do 30 days or 28 days of training. We call it a marathon. So every day you're going to get a meditation. Every day you're going to learn how to educate yourself as to how to discern information that you perceive with your mental senses. Now, no one's ever taught that in school. No one ever learned that in school. The only school that teaches that is the Silva method. We're the only method that teach people how to discern information that they perceive with their mental senses, much like we learn as children growing up how to discern and make sense of information that we perceive with our physical senses. We didn't always know that water was liquid and that water was ice, and something that got frozen and made a hard thing would melt and become water. I mean, we didn't know that if you boil it, makes steam, and that steam looks like smoke, and that steam looks like condensation. We had to make points of reference to discern that information through the distinctions and comparisons. So we're going to show you and guide you on a daily basis how to make those comparisons, how to educate yourself as to how to discern information with your mental senses, because your mental senses have no barriers of time or space. Your mental senses can go into the past, be here in the present, or move into the future. Your mental senses can go into the energy levels of atomic, molecular, cellular, organ system, can go out into the universe, into other planets and stellar systems. I mean, you have no boundaries whatsoever with your imagination, with your mental senses. So we're going to guide you as to how to discern information that you perceive with your mental senses for a whole month, for 28 days. through meditations, through tasks that you'll be doing during the day, assignments, what to be mindful for, what to be listening to, because we can be visual, auditory, kinesthetic. You might be able to sense information through a gut feeling or words that come to your mind, and how to follow through and be able to establish points of reference to with a feeling that comes with perceiving accurate information, so that whenever you have that feeling, you know without a shadow of a doubt that you're sensing accurately, and you better listen to it and follow through.
Mhm.
So I'm excited because it's about every day of the month. I will be online with you. We'll have a platform where you
Mhm.
can ask questions, ask me personal questions, and I can help you. And if ever you're confused about something, or you're not clear about another thing, I mean, I'll be there to answer you and guide you and help you along the way on a daily basis for 28 days. And so
This is very powerful because,
it is.
when I listened to you, I found it also very um, based on our habitual building. So, like, because it's giving me some times, right, to basically, be with the connection of my intuition. Plus, I have you for so many days. I think that it's very, very powerful. So,
It is.
guys,
Yeah.
yeah, there is a link. Please make to follow. I'm going also to post it underneath in the comment of our video with Laura, so you will have the link on both sides, in the chat box and also in the main comments after, when our chat with Laura will be finished. So Laura, are you ready for some question? Are you
Absolutely.
ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's start from the beginning, guys. If I would miss something, please make sure to paste for me your question one more time, because there is a few. So let's start from Shrey. It's quite, I think, interesting, Clara. So, what is the benefit of Silva centering exercise with theta sound? Would it help me to develop my intuition?
Everything that you do can help develop intuition, because intuition is you're more receptive when you're more open to it. Now, the centering exercise is a very powerful exercise, and it has a theta sound in the background only because it's easy to get into alpha. But if we want to go into slower frequencies of brain, you're going to have a theta sound. The theta sound is 5 ticks per second. Alpha is 10 ticks per second. And so we use both of them many times. But the 5 ticks per second will help your brain frequency synchronize. If your brain is going really fast and the ticking is going slow, eventually the ticking once your brain frequency wants to synchronize itself to the ticking sound, while you listen to some of the programs that are inserted or embedded into the meditation. The centering exercises teaches you how to release and let go of tension and pressure. So right there, you're going to learn how to relax your body physically. Then your body, brain, mind can learn how to create that, because it's a state that you've already made a point of reference with, is that physical relaxation. Then you also go into moving towards not only that, but you're also developing a lot of concentration and focus, because you're concentrating on one small part of the body. Concentrate your sense of awareness of the scalp, the skin that covers your head. Then you will feel a fine vibration, a tingling sensation, a feeling of warmth caused by circulation. So experience that, connect with that. Then you release and relax all tensions and ligament pressures from this part of your body, and place in a deep state of relaxation that will get deeper and deeper as we continue. We say that about everything. So by the time we get done, you're so relaxed. And then we go through a process of desensitizing. So you desensitize the body by saying, feel your feet that they don't belong. Feel your feet, ankles, calves, feet. And then you're just left with what feels like just your thinking, your intellect, your mind. And in that way, you have that experience that is a little bit deeper and very, very profound in many cases. And when you have that ticking sound in the background and your body is so relaxed, your frequency tends to go very slow and even go into theta. Then we go into relaxing the mind. And so now you relax the mind by what? Thinking of a tranquil and passive scene. And we give you examples of tranquil and passive scenes. So how can you use that in your everyday living experience? If you're feeling chaotic and stressed, just wait, stop, pause, close your eyes, and think about a tranquil and passive scene and relax yourself. And then it goes on to teaching you how to center and deepen more with a 10 to 1 countdown. But that deepening can be done with a 50 to 1 or 25 to 1 or 100 to 1. It doesn't matter. Go deeper and deeper and deeper. In the classroom, when we teach the Silva method, a lot of times when we count 1 to 5 to open your eyes at the end of the centering exercise, people will open their eyes, but they say, I don't remember anything, because they lost awareness because they went so deep. So the centering exercise helps open up really those very deep inner states that you've never been to before with some consciousness. But yet, if you open your eyes at the count of 5, you're still listening and following instructions and absorbing that information. So you're still able to benefit from those things. We do it again the second, third, fourth time or more, then you're more conscious, because now you know how to maintain consciousness in those very slow frequencies of brain and very deep inner states of mind. And that is what helps you to develop more control of mind, or mind control, self mind control. It's a powerful.
That's super, super extensive answer, Laura. Thank you so much. And we have a next question from Michael Ryan. Michael, I actually appreciate that you are here with us. Laura, I have to, share my gratitude to Michael, even right now beside you, because Michael is the Silva grad from 1983. And he was very helpful for me when I started here 7 years ago, because he knew so much about the Silva, and he was very, very helpful. So, Michael, I do appreciate your absence today here with us. This is very interesting question. And neuroscience is only now catching up with Silva Method. I actually agree with that. Does Laura feel Jose has been given enough credit for his discoveries?
Maybe not, because, the Silva Method was always the most duplicated course ever taught. Even from the very moment that it started back in the 60s, people would come in, look at the class. Lots of people would be in the class, and they would kind of estimate how much money they're going to make from it. And then they would steal the information and use, the book, and then they would go and try to teach their own version of the Silva Method. And it's been the most duplicated course. And so it got like a lot of that happened all the way through. So a lot of times I think maybe he hasn't received the kind of information, because if you go back to like mindfulness, affirmation, 3 fingers, which is like an anchoring technique. I mean, a lot of this stuff, came from the Silva Method and the research that he had done. But if you really follow it, if you really follow the line, the lineage, you'll eventually get to Jose Silva. But to him, at the very end, he thought, this belongs to the world. This belongs to everybody. And I think in that sense, I mean, I think I learned that from him too. For me, it is also important to offer a lot of free things, or give a lot of free courses, or give the webinars, and, try to answer as much information to people, because it's really important that people feel confident utilizing these tools, and that they really truly change their life for the better, because they can, if that's what they want. And really, quite frankly, there's still 7 billion people on the planet. Most people on the planet still don't know how to meditate. So I think it's now our job to teach others to do this kind of work, because it's going to benefit them anyway, and continue to keep this alive throughout the world.
That's super. Question is coming now from Agnes. Silva graduates as well. This is actually a great question, Laura. Laura, can you share with us your favorite technique? I might guess, but we will see what you are going to answer.
For me, I use 3 fingers all the time, because I go in and out of my meditations throughout the day all the time. Some goes in and out. I like the mini booster meditations, but the life-changing technique for me was literally the mirror of the mind. So mirror of the mind for me was life-changing. I also do, not because it's just what I do. I wake up without an alarm clock. I haven't used an alarm clock in 50 years, maybe. I just don't use alarm clocks. I never do. But the clock technique for me was one of those techniques that really build a lot of conviction, because you are setting a goal. This is great for manifesting. You're setting a goal in the future to manifest at a specific time. And for me, it was not good enough if I wanted to get up at 6:45, if I got up at 7, that's not good enough. It had to be 6:45. And so little by little, I started to play around with the clock technique way back when. And I would program it to wake up at 7:02, 6:43, and then open my eyes. And it had to be exactly at that time, because if I can make myself wake up exactly at that moment, then what else can't I make happen exactly at that moment. And
Mhm.
so there was goals I would want to set at a specific time, at a specific date, and I would get them done at that specific time and that specific date because this the clock technique gave me the conviction that I could set a goal, a specific goal to manifest at a specific time, and then I trusted in that. So I never used a physical clock when I used my mental clock because that would sabotage the outcome. And I really focus on the whole desire, belief, and expectation. Because do I really need to get up and a desire to get up? Yes, I do. Do I believe I can make it happen? Of course I do. My brain is capable of doing that. And do I expect it to happen without a shadow of a doubt? Yes. And so now I just know the time I want to awaken, and I do. And
Yeah.
that's always been my lifestyle as well. But what was the
Yeah.
question? Was that part of the question?
You answered the question, and we knew it. Like that was exactly my expectation. I expected you to share with us that mirror of the mind would be your question. And yes, I totally resonate with everything what you just said, Laura. And this is even the way how I'm trying to explain, the alarm clock in terms of manifestation, because this is so powerful. It's like reinforce that feeling that you are actually a manifestor because you can wake up on the time that you desire,
Yeah.
right? How powerful it is. So I totally resonate with everything what you just said. This is also a very nice questions from Magda. Magda is all about to become a Silva graduate. So I just have a chat with Magda today. Laura, do you believe that hard work is needed to manifest our intention, or change of beliefs in some cases would be enough?
Again, belief is a very powerful word. So I believe that I don't believe hard work necessarily is going to deliver results that I'm looking for. But I also believe that what hard work can, if you work hard at something, or if you're persistent at something, and if you've got the grit and you stick to it, you're going to make it happen if that's what you believe in. So again, it's not even important what I believe. What is important is, what do you believe? Because do you believe it takes hard work to manifest your outcome? If that's what you believe, yes, it's going to take hard work. Or do you believe that it's going to be like knowledge and application and passion and persistency? I mean, so again, they're both right. Yes, I do believe it, and no, I don't. I don't believe it. You know, because it
Mhm.
depends on how you apply it. So belief is a very, very powerful aspect about all manifestations. But whatever it is that you choose to believe, just make sure it opens that door of opportunity and works for you, not against you. That's all. Doesn't matter what you believe, as long as it's working for you and not against you.
Mhm. That's super. Thank you so much, Laura. I cannot see any more question unless I missed something. So guys, please make sure that you are going to paste it for me here. And I just want to welcome a few more people. Henry, it's also great to have you here. Henry is also very experienced Silva grad with such a powerful healing skill. So I'm just smiling, Laura, because, having you here helped me also to see people that I met during my journey with the Silva method. And I got such a powerful, experience with them. So this is very powerful. And Magda is thanking you. No worries, Magda. It's a pleasure. So Laura, what can I say? You used to be on my vision board and I manifested to have you here. I knew it. I'm going to be honest with you, Laura, that when I made a conscious decision that I want to work on this channel, with the day number one, I knew because I have this desire. I believe in that. And I expected that Laura Silva Quesada is going to be just beside me. I was just waiting for that perfect momentum. And I think that 10,000 subscribers, it's a good time for celebration, Laura. So I'm not going to say goodbye. I'm going to see you later at some
Right.
stage.
We will see you soon.
See you.
I will always be here for you. So
Yeah.
anytime you want me to hop on and share some thoughts, I'd be happy to do so.
Super. Thank you so much, Laura. And guys, for everyone who will be watching replay of this conversation, please also make sure, to ask some question just underneath of this video. If not Laura, because I can expect her that she might have her intensive, time. even me, I can help you with your question. I think that, I had these great trainers and teacher and mentors. So yeah, I think that we are on the same page. So thank you so much, Laura. It was a pleasure to have you here. It took us around 75 minutes, so great timing. And yeah, thank you guys. There is now a lot of thank you comments that it's coming toward your site. So Laura, have a great day. We are going to follow your Intuition Intensive Marathon, and please see you soon, hopefully at some stage,
See you soon. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and loved being here. So I look forward to another opportunity in the near future.
Thank you so much, Laura. Take care, guys. Thank you so much for being with us. See you then.